Dan Close, thank you very much for talking to us. Championship leader for the F1000s at the moment. How are we feeling going into Oulton?
Yeah, really excited. The results we had at Silverstone were fantastic. The cars working really well. The boys have found a real good sweet spot with it, and I think I'm driving as well as I've ever driven. So, and I love Oulton Park.
It's a fantastic circuit, Oulton. A lot different from Silverstone. Obviously, much more undulation changes here. But talk to us about the car. We were speaking to some mechanics as you were arriving via electric scooter, and they were saying that teams are having some troubles with the brakes out there with the discs.
Yeah, Oulton Park's very hard on brakes. You've got some sort of big stops several times a lap, which gets brake temperatures very high and whatever else. And we found a couple of cracks in the front discs yesterday during testing, so we swapped those out. And apart from that, it's just keeping on top of the cleanliness on the pads, the disc condition and whatever else, and just making sure that everything's as good as it can be.
Yeah, of course, they look like a fantastic lightweight little Formula car to race. I suspect they're quite savage out on circuit.
They are. They're quite a violent piece of kit, really, when you sat inside them. And we should be lapping sort of beyond 100 miles an hour average here, which is nice and easy at somewhere like Silverstone. But here it takes a lot more hard work.
I'd say it doesn't look like there's much downforce to it, but it's got more than what we would say from a Formula Ford.
That's right. Yes, yeah. There is a little bit. There's sort of a bigger floor underneath, which creates a sort of a decent ground effect as well. And then wings front and back. So both of which front and back wings are adjustable. So we'll trim those depending on what the car's doing generally at high speed. And then we'll play with the damper settings on the suspension generally for the low speed corners.
Excellent. Well, the car's looking fantastic, and best of luck for today. And you're in your classic style today. I can see it's a nice look.
Absolutely, yes, yeah. We've got to keep these young lads in check somehow or other.
Excellent stuff. Best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
Already then, the cars on the grid for this 15-minute race for the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. The blue car of Dan Clewes on pole position. And the red lights go out, away we go, and it's Dan Clewes that's made a great start to the race, immediately slotting into the lead ahead of Lee Morgan, and it looks like Jack Tomlin might lose out to Matthew Booth there, the reigning champion in the number 1 car. There's Max Windhauser sweeping around the outside of number 22, Dax Ward at the back of the grid. They make their way down towards Cascades for the first time. Lap times for these cars are around about 135, 136, something like that for the quickest car. So it's going to be 9 or 10 laps, I would think, that we will get for this 15-minute race. Down to Shallow's corner for the first time. Then it's Dan Clewes leading. Lee Morgan is in second place. And Matthew Booth, yes, he is indeed in third position. So he got ahead of Jack Tomlin, the teenager, off the line. Jack had an excellent debut in the championship. He won the driver of the meeting at Silverstone International on his very first appearance in the category. Wonder if he can repeat that today. Well, he qualified well, second row of the grid in the number 60 car. Let's see what he can do here. But up front, it's Lee Morgan that is piling the pressure on the race leader, Dan Clewes, and Lee Morgan, new engine in that car after dramas last time out. He is one of the 2 Perpetual Motorsport drivers, is Lee Morgan. And he has the second fastest lap here at Oulton Park in the history of F1000. Richard Mitchum, though, it is that has the official lap record, multiple champion in this category down the years. So, coming through towards the end of lap 1 then, it's Dan Clewes, number 2, that's leading. Number 56, Lee Morgan, is in second position. And it is Matthew Booth in third position, Jack Tomlin 4th. And up into 5th place at the end of lap 1 has come number 11, Elliot Mitchell. So he's got his way ahead of Matthew Manette, who slipped back 4 places to 9th spot. And he will be a bit disappointed with that because he's already had some good form here at Oulton Park during the course of this season. He has had his maiden win here just a few weeks ago in another category, but within the same car. So Matthew Manette will be hoping to fly through the order from 9th on the grid, and I know that he's missing the presence this weekend of Rob Wellham, who sadly was unable to take part at Silverstone either, the Suffolk teenager who's been busy touring his car around his sponsors over the past few days, but I'm sure he would have been much rather been here at Oulton Park, competing in the second of 4 meetings this season for the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. Hopefully we'll see Rob back on the grid at Snetterton. There is the number 60 car then of Jack Tomlin in 4th position. The top 4 here making a bit of a break from the rest, who I think still headed by Elliot Mitchell. But there is Dan Clues then, number 2 in the lead of the race, and he is part of the JFK racing team. He did this paint job that you can see on the camera. We can't see the mix. We're looking at Matthew Booth. We'll perhaps pick that up where we can see him. There is Matthew Booth, the Reading champion. He runs non-tuned engines, but he had his own dramatic weekend at Silverstone that's left him only in 7th place in the championship. Managed to get a 2nd and 3rd out of it, but a non-finish in the 3rd race. Oh, and off has gone the 41 car there. So number 41 having a moment. That's Billy Stiles. He's the other of the teenagers, the Motorsport UK Academy students this year. I've got yellow flags at Island Bend and yellow flags at Shallows Corner. So we'll try and work out exactly what has gone on. There is a car off there, so we'll try and see if we can pick up on that. And that is the 21 car. It is Matthew Manette, isn't it? We were talking about him having had his first win here a few weeks ago, and sadly, he's not going to add to that in this race. He's out of the car though, he's okay, and that is the main thing. Matthew's all right. So top 4 here, they are a long way clear of the rest of the run, I can assure you. More than 4 cars left in this race, which doesn't look like it from that shot. There's Matthew Booth, 2016 Sports Specials champion. He's been racing within the 750 Motor Club and elsewhere for a good few seasons, and pretty successfully too. So there's Clues. It's this paint job that Clues did. He did it all by himself. It was his lockdown project. And it looks very smart, doesn't it? That sort of powder blue that Dan Clues is sporting this season. He's probably more interested though in Lee Morgan behind him in the blue, white and orange Perpetual Motorsport car at the moment than he's about his own colour scheme, because there is still only 0.6 of a second between them, and that time through Lee Morgan did the best lap of the race so far, 1:36.34. The lap record for these cars is a 1:34.96. Meanwhile, Paul Butcher is making up places there. Now, he was a bit further back, wasn't he? But he's now gone through and up into 5th position, you can see. There's one car that's slowing there. Someone's got a problem. I think that might have been Dan Gore that's in trouble and dropping down the order. And you can see the 55 of Nikita Abramov in the TSR, Team Sellers Racing machine. 12th in the championship and 5th in the clubman class, I think. After the Silverstone weekend, run and coached by Stuart Sellers, having done some rallycross racing in the past, Nikita. So there is that TSR car that you can see, and he's running in 12th place as things stand as they head over Hilltop. There you can see the 33 car of Rob Bailey, and he this season is running with the support from Mattel Cars. Put UK8 engine in for this season, wasn't an immediate success at Silverstone. That was a mistake there, I think, from James Hills. I think it was number 7 possibly. Try and pick up on that. Yes, it was Hill, so he's lost a position there to Abramov now, so that's for 11th place. Abramov having gone through. Leaders have passed me, by the way, and it's Clues leading by 0.9 of a second now from Lee Morgan. As there is Abramov, there is James Hills, number 7. The 14 car came through shot. There is Adam Walker, and he now is up into 5th position. There's Bailey, number 33, he's 7th, and 88 Mark Betts, the former Sports 1000 racer, Sports prototype racer. He's in 8th place. And then 9th, in fact it's 9th Abramov, isn't it, with the various issues for other drivers on the previous lap, and James Hills rounding out the top 10. Dean Warren, who started at the back of the grid, or virtually the back of the grid up to 10th. We've got a couple of cars into pit lane. One of them I think is Dan Gore, the other is Paul Butcher. I think Paul Butcher pretty much, if not the most experienced driver in the Sports 1000 Championship, but 2 drivers into the pit lane, I'm afraid. and out of the race. Meanwhile, there is Jack Tomlin. Now, he's still in 4th place, still just behind Matthew Booth, the reigning champion, who had 5 wins during the course of last year, in 3rd place. But there's another driver who had 5 wins during the course of last year, and that's Lee Morgan. And he's very much challenging for the lead now, isn't he? As we are approaching half race distance here. Yes, just about, or just under 8 minutes left to go now. They turn their way through Lodge Corner, climbing up Deer Leap. The gap certainly has come down from the nearly 9/10 that it was at the start of the lap. And Morgan pulls out. He has a look down the inside into Oulton Corner. And Lee Morgan, for the moment, still has to settle for 2nd position behind Dan Clues, who really is having a great season. Last year he finished 2nd in the championship, although he only won once. But he was 8 times on the podium last year. He was extremely consistent, a very good finishing record last year, Dan Clues, and that's what earned him 2nd place in the championship. But this year, it seems, it's all about the absolute race pace that he's got. Maybe that new colour scheme is what's done the trick. Still leading here from Lee Morgan. And Lee Morgan, a champion, of course, in the past in F1000. He certainly knows what he's doing around Oulton Park. Over Hilltop they go in the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship race. Round 4 of 10 that we'll have in the season for 2020. Through Knickerbrook now, and then they'll climb Clay Hill. 0.12 seconds was the gap as they were almost alongside at the start of the lap. Climbing up Hilltop, under the bridge, is Lee Morgan, sort of preparing himself for another attack into Oulton Corner. Maybe he thinks that's his best opportunity here. Certainly they've pulled well clear now of the 3rd place battle. That's Matthew Booth and Jack Tomlin. They're about 3 seconds adrift, those two. Right, here comes Lee Morgan. Is he going to be able to get alongside this time? No, he's not as close as he was on the previous lap. Maybe he's looking to try and make something work on the exit of the corner this time. But no, can't do that. So it is still Dan Clues leading, with 2/3 of the race now gone. Lee Morgan in 2nd place, Matthew Booth 3rd, Jack Tomlin 4th, Adam Walker is in 5th place. In 6th place, Elliot Mitchell. Then it's Matt Betts, Nikita Abramov, James Hills and Dean Warren. As they pass there the Andrew Minette car that you can see having been into the barriers. You can see the tyre tracks there as well. These 2 leaders really are very close all the way around the lap, aren't they? Dan Clues, he's under enormous pressure from Lee Morgan, and I guess the question is, can he absorb it? There is another 4.5 minutes of the race left to go. Morgan shows his nose in the mirrors there of number 2, Dan Clues, but doesn't convert that into a passing opportunity. So Clues, Morgan and Booth and Tomlin. Morgan there just losing a little bit of ground to Clues, wasn't he, as they climbed up the hill. Turning their way out of Druids, under the Paul Warwick Bridge and towards Lodge Corner once again. Again, Morgan isn't as close on this lap as he was a couple of laps ago. I do wonder actually if they're beginning to slow each other up. On the previous lap and Booth was starting to close in on them. I think actually Booth might have had another pretty good lap here. Let's have a look at the lap times as they go through. I think the gap might have come down. Yes, it has. So Matthew Booth, with probably 3 laps to go, I would say, in this race, is starting to buy into this as well. He's leaving Jack Tomlin behind a little bit, the number 60 car of the teenager, in 4th position. But it's Clues leading. 5th and 6th, meanwhile, is a change, actually. A change, because through at out of my commentary box window at Oulton Corner has gone Elliot Mitchell, although Adam Walker tries to come back to him. Meanwhile, the leaders turning their way through Island Bend. And it is number 2, Dan Clues, from number 56, Lee Morgan. That was at Shellowers Corner. Turn their way through the left, right, left at Britain's, then climb up the hill. Crest it about now and drop down. Oh, and off has gone the number 27 car. That's Al Rhodes. That's at Knickerbrook, isn't it? That he has been off. So actually, I think just in front of the leaders who are coming through now, in fact no, I think that was a different part of the circuit, beg your pardon, but certainly Matthew Booth looking third place. He's definitely catching these two now. There'll be, I think, 2 more laps to go at the end of this one then. Can Booth get in a position to challenge here? As I say, last time out it was a third and a fourth that he had. I think I said second and third earlier, but third and fourth that he had at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago. Lee Morgan didn't feature, of course, there, and Dan Clews, as we know, won all 3 races. So Clews in by far the best position in the championship of any of these 3 drivers that are contending here. A third of a second just over between the 2 leaders as they complete lap number 8 with 2 laps to go of this Oulton Park International Circuit. Making their way down Island Bend and into the left-hander at Highland, the right-hander at Shallows Corner. Morgan almost looked like he was about to make a move there as well, but it wasn't to be. The rest of the order, meanwhile, Elliot Mitchell and Adam Walker still having a great old fight over 5th and 6th. James Hill's 7th, Nikita Abramov 8th, Billy Stiles 9th, Dean Warren 10th. We've lost a few cars in this race. Rob Bailey we've lost, Mark Betts we've lost as well as the race has gone on, as well as Paul Butcher and Dan Gore, who were in the pits a few laps in. 2 leaders then, making their way through Hislops for the penultimate time then. Time very much running out for Lee Morgan here if he is to get the place away and get the lead away from his rival. There is the 56 car of Morgan making his way through up towards the right-hander at Lodge Corner. Now, good exit there, I thought, from Lee Morgan, and this is going to put him in a good position, I think, coming down towards Old Hall Corner. He's overlapping. Now, he's got his nose in front as they go into Old Hall Corner, and he's done it. He set that up at Lodge Corner, really did Lee Morgan, and he's got a decent exit as well from Old Hall Corner, and so it's been a waiting game. Has it paid off for Lee Morgan? He's out in front now, but still 3/4 of a lap to go. So it's Lee Morgan, number 56, leading from number 2. Dan Clews now in 2nd place. It was a well-planned and indeed a well-executed manoeuvre that from Lee Morgan as he's looking for his first win of the year in the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. Then it's Booth in 3rd, and he's not really got any closer, I don't think, to the leaders. 4th to Jack Tomlin, as we will wait for them to come down from Hilltop. Dan Clews then, can he do anything about Lee Morgan? The answer is, at the moment, no, because Lee Morgan has pulled out quite a few lengths over Dan Clews, and Matthew Booth is actually closing in on him as well. And Jack Tomlin is not too far behind, so you've got 4 cars separated by not very much here, with only half a lap to go, or less than half a lap to go now, here at Oulton Park. Climbing up the hill for the final time towards Druids, the right-hander. Lee Morgan here looking pretty secure for the win, and I think Dan Clews should be good for 2nd place, and I think he would be disappointed to have lost out on the lead on the final lap, but he knows that he's got 3 great results in the bag from Silverstone, and a 2nd place here will not do his championship hopes too much harm. So up to the line they come then, and it is going to be Lee Morgan that wins round number 4 of the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship. In 2nd place, number 2, Dan Clews. In 3rd place, number 1, Matthew Booth. In 4th place, number 60, that's Jack Tomlin. And there's a bit of a gap back for the rest, but those 4 in the end covered by only 2.34 seconds in the end. And we'll wait for the 5th place car to come through. That is the number 11 of Elliot Mitchell in the end, from number 14, Adam Walker. And they have come over the line 5th and 6th. In 7th place, it's going to be James Hills, number 7. Nikita Abramov, number 55, takes 8th place. They had a pretty good scrap as well during the course of that one. 9th over the line is going to be the car of Billy Stiles, number 41. And I think we should have Dean Warren. We should have had Dean Warren in 10th place, because he's got drama on the final lap. So Andrew Wheels is going to get past him, and so too is Max Windhaus. So that's, I bet he's not even going to make it to the checkered flag. That's a great shame for Dean Warren, switching into the F1000 Championship this year. It's the James McLachlan car, and Dean Warren, having come from Monoposto, sadly a non-finisher here. But final few cars coming through, and we will give you the results in just a moment. With one more race to come before the lunch break, and that's going to be for the BMW Kart Club Racing Championship, so watch out for that in a moment. We'll give you the results in just a second. Apologies that we're not able to bring you post-race interviews just at the moment. Circumstances beyond our control, but let's have a look at the results then. Number 56 it was Lee Morgan that took the win by about 0.8 of a second from Dan Clues, number 2. In third place, number 1, the reigning champion Matt Booth from 60 Jack Tomlin, 11 Elliot Mitchell, 14 Adam Walker. James Hills was actually hit with a 5-second penalty, so I think that might drop him behind Nikita Abramov in the end. And then it's Billy Stiles and Andrew Wills running out the top 10. Max Windhauser, number 66, 11th, and Dax Ward finishes in 12th place. And if we look a little bit further back, if we can, Al Rhodes finishing 13th, and then the non-finishers, Dean Warren, Mark Betts, Rob Bailey, Paul Butcher, Dan Gore and Matthew Minette. So a little bit of attrition in that race, I'm afraid. Hopefully, most if not all of those cars will be back out for race number 2, and I'm sure that the F1000 team will keep us fully informed with all of the developments there ahead of race 2.
All right, Lee, wow, what a race that was. You must be pleased with that one. Last lap, save it to the best of the time.
Yeah, it was a tough race. I mean, like, Dan was lapping quick. He got me a little bit at the start. I knew I had to wait for the tyres to come in. I think we were both struggling with front end because both of us were making little mistakes. But when he made one, I wasn't close enough, and when I did, I was too close. So, yeah, and it all just came together just onto the last lap. I just managed to just force him into a little bit of defensive driving, got a better drive with him onto the start-finish, and it was just who wanted to brake last, really, and luckily I braked last, got the lead, and just kept my head down from there.
It was awesome. He had a fantastic exit out the final corner onto the start-finish straight. We were watching on the stream itself. Great overtake, obviously, down the hill as well. Fantastic win.
Thank you very much.
Champion.